Today on Till Vacuum Do Us Part. Hello guys, and welcome to Till Vacuum Do Us Part. Today's video is a really good one. I'm showing you how to do like a faux tile wall. This would probably only cost you about $20 max. For me it was way less because we already had the tape and the paintbrushes. We did have to pick up some paint pens. I grabbed 2 packs because I didn't know how much it would take, and we were about to hit a winter storm and I just wanted to have them on hand, but we didn't need 2 packs at all. We even have some left over from the first package. And then we just ran and grabbed a tile that we liked the shape and the size. So you could pick any shape, any size. You could either make this out of cardboard. I suggest just making sure when you cut it has very clean lines. I was going to show you here the hexagon tile my Backsplash has in my kitchen was really small. So if you're doing a good size wall, I would go with a larger tile unless you don't mind being tedious and taking a long time. Now if you're just going to do like the Backsplash of your kitchen, it would be fine. But if you're going to be doing a really large wall like a fireplace, or like we did in our laundry room, we opted for a little bit bigger tile just so it would go quickly. So now that you know everything you need to go ahead and get started, I think the one thing I didn't mention was paint, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Now I'm just going to start clearing off my shelves because originally we were going to just do the wall between like the bottom of the shelves and then the washer and dryer, but Chase had the idea of just going all the way up the wall and we were snowed in, so why not? So I'm going to go ahead and clear off the shelves and then even get those clean. There's a lot of dust up there and you definitely don't want that mixing in with wet paint. So we're going to go ahead and just prep this area. While I'm working on clearing off these shelves, I thought we'd talk pricing just for a little bit. The 2-pack of paint pens were around $5, and then the tile we chose was like $1.52 or something around that. I did grab 2 of them just in case we dropped it and one broke. Once again, this was all happening during like a snowstorm, so I knew we couldn't like get back out, nor would we want to anyways. So I just went ahead and picked up 2 tiles. You don't have to do that. You don't even have to do the tile. For us, that was just easier, but you could cut out your own design, like out of cardboard or like a really sturdy plastic or something like that. I know you guys are way more creative than me, so I'm sure you can come up with something, but that would even save you a couple dollars. And then the tape, even if you have masking tape at home, that would work. And then as far as paint goes, use whatever you have. We have tons of leftover paint, so we didn't even have to buy that. But if you need to buy it, you could just buy a smaller bin of it, a sample size, just kind of assess how much paint you actually need going up on your wall and just grab something small. Just another reminder, we have a video where we created these shelves here in the laundry room. So when we bought this house, it was just that floating small cabinet and it just seemed so odd for the space. I wish he would have put like 2 cabinets side by side so we'd have like 4 doors, but he didn't, and that's okay. So Chase came in and created these shelves. So I'll try to remember to link that video down below in my description box just in case you need something like that as well. Okay, so as you can see, everything's been taken off and removed that we can. I've cleaned it all up, so now that all of that's done, Chase is gonna come in and he's gonna move out the washer and dryer. We didn't want to like completely unhook them, so we just pulled them out enough that he could get back there and work, because it's gonna be easier than trying to like lean over them the whole time. So you may or may not have to do this. It just depends on where you're gonna be putting this wall in your house. Up next is to start taping off the area that you're going to paint. I know some people don't always do this. If you're not going to do this, you have to have a very good brush and a very steady hand. And still, it's really hard because we're going to be using black paint. So if it goes over at all, you're going to see it. If you're doing two kind of colors that are alike, you could skip this, but I always suggest taping off. It takes a little more time and a lot more work, but it's always worth it at the end because it's going to look way more professional when you pull it off and there's like straight lines. So this is definitely optional, but if it were me, I would just go ahead and do it. Now we're trying to decide where we want it to end, because if this was actual backsplash tile, it wouldn't go all the way below the washer and dryer. So we're trying to decide where it's going to end, and we want it to end even. Like, we don't want it to end where like we only do half the tile. So Chase was just measuring it out with a pencil so we knew exactly where to tape off. And as always, our sidekicks / supervisors are over there taking a nap while we're on the job, but they definitely keep us in line. And then I wanted to show you kind of the stuff that I had taken off. When you're doing a project, I just want you to know it always gets worse before it gets better. There's going to be clutter everywhere. And I also wanted to show you the paint that we're using just in case you like it. We like this limousine leather. We've really been liking this black, and we get it in the matte finish. I don't know if Lowe's does that. I know Home Depot does. We buy paint from both. Go wherever the paint is the cheapest. Do what you got to do. This one's a little bit higher end because it's just like a one coat layer. You don't have to do several layers on it, which is super nice. We may have to like touch up a few spots that we missed, but that's about it. So I'm going to show you. Chase is done taping. It looks really good. It was actually funny seeing like a pop of blue in there. For some reason I liked it, but now we're going to go ahead and open up this paint, and it is one we've used before, so it's older. So we're going to go ahead and stir it up to make sure it's nice and fresh, and then Chase is going to get to painting. So for us with this project, the hardest part or most tedious part was just taping off. If you can see, there's really not that much wall space here since the washer and dryer butt up to it, and they have the big cabinets and the shelves. So we're gonna go ahead and just paint around this because we wanted our tile to look black. So you don't have to use black. You could do white or any color tile choice you would want. Pick that as your paint. And then when it comes to your paint pen, we chose white because that's what color we wanted the grout. But if you wanted like a white wall with black grout, just buy accordingly. The next thing I really want to do, I don't know where yet, is kind of like a white wall with like gold grout. I haven't decided where I'm going to put it or the shape or style the tile would be, but it is something I want to tackle. Just I want to see how it would turn out. This is a really cool way to improve your home or a wall in your home if you're on a tight budget. Maybe you don't even have a tight budget, but you don't want to hire in a crew to come do it. Or maybe you don't want to do it yourself, or you don't want tons of tile and real grout to clean. This is going to be a lot easier to maintain. And then worst case scenario, if you don't like the color, if you don't like the style or the shape or the grout, you can literally just paint over this. You don't have a lot of cost into it. So I feel like it's just an easy little way to update your house. I would have killed for this tip in our first house because in our kitchen we didn't have a backsplash, and it just drove me crazy, but we never had the money to have it installed. And then even the pill and stick tile was super pricey back then, and we just didn't have it in our budget. I totally would have tackled this when I painted our kitchen cabinets in the house. So at least for you guys, if you're on a tight budget or if you just want to try it out, I think this is such a cool project to do. So the options are endless when it comes to this. This would be great for a fireplace, just an accent wall, backsplash, laundry room, bathrooms. Think of all the places you could do just like a tile wall. It's just so neat. It would be really cool in like a guest bathroom. I've even seen this done with like faux shiplap walls where you paint the wall white and then you use a black Sharpie and just do straight lines and it looks like shiplap. So if you're not wanting the tile look, you could do that wall anywhere in your house, your TV wall, anything. So just keep in mind, just because you don't have a big budget does not mean you can't have a beautiful home. I stress that all the time here on my channel. You just have to get creative. Okay, now Chase is doing the satisfying part of taking off the tape. I love filming this part for you guys. You love it. I love watching it. I love editing it. It's just so cool to watch him peel off the tape and just see a straight line. But now we're getting to the good part where he's going to basically just outline the tile and start tiling, faux tiling up this wall. Now, say you already have a black wall or the accent wall you're wanting, you may be able to skip every step we've done thus far and you can just get a tile and a paint pen and go to town painting it. So keep that in mind. We just needed to paint ours because we wanted it to have some contrast from the other walls. But it's as easy as just sticking the tile up there. We did start in the very center so it will go out evenly, and he's just tracing it, and then all you're gonna do is pick it up and move it, and now you're just gonna start lining up the tiles. There's no like measuring, there's nothing crazy. You have the tile, you just line it up, trace it. I could do this, your child could probably do this. It was so easy and it actually moved way faster than I was expecting it to. This is why I suggested earlier, if you're gonna trace your own shape, make sure it has a really straight edge, because if it's bumpy at all, your paint marks may look bumpy. You want something with a super straight edge, and like I said, this tile was only like $1.50 something, so it's not that expensive anyways. You could pick out any style you wanted in any of the stores, but if you are stuck at home and you have all the paint supplies, you can cut something out. Just make sure it's super straight because you want your tile to look really nice when you're putting it on there. Another little tip is the paint pen was kind of hard to work with when he was down below because the paint was rushing backwards instead of forwards. So occasionally I would just switch him pins and I would push on it for a little bit until the paint started coming out. But once he started working more on the higher shelf area and the pin was facing down, he didn't have any issues. But if you're doing a wall like ours where he's kind of like squatting and so the pin, all the paint's running to the back, you will have a little bit of a problem, but you guys can just tag team it and keep those pins, switching them back and forth so the paint keeps staying towards the front. But right here, it was just flying through. I thought it would take us forever to do something like this, and it took us maybe like 45 minutes to tile up this whole wall, if it was even that long. Now when it came to the edges, he did grab a ruler to like finish it off because the tile wouldn't fit in that area. But I also ran out to my garage. I had some like Amazon boxes left over and I took the tile and traced it and cut it out. Now it's on this cardboard piece, so this piece can actually bend. So if we need it to bend in a corner or underneath a shelf, he can switch it out. Right here you can see him using it, and it did make life a little easier on the areas that like the hard tile would have broke if we were trying to put it there. So you might need to do that as well. And just like that part of the wall was done. So originally that's all we were gonna do. That would have taken no time at all. But like I said earlier, Chase wanted to go up the wall, and I'm so glad we decided to do that because it made such a huge impact at the end. So you're gonna watch him just slowly go up, and we're trying to carry on the pattern like it would if it was real tile. So definitely line it up so the pattern stays the same. If you start a completely different pattern, it's gonna look messy. Now you can hide any mess ups with like a plant or decor. Like these shelves are gonna have stuff on them, so keep that in mind. These weren't done perfectly, but once it's done and decorated, even once it was done, you just don't notice because it is like a busier pattern. And I'm so happy with how this turned out. Like I said, it did not take long at all. This could be done for under 20 bucks. I'm gonna go ahead and get this decorated so you guys can see what it looks like finished. I'm in my jammies now because it was later in the day, and like I said, we were snowed in, so if you want to know why I have that on, it's not a new day. I was just getting comfy. But now I'm going to start putting things back up. I did pull out all the black decor now, just because now I have a black wall, so it's not going to pop against it, and there's plenty of black over there. So I'm grabbing more like wicker and golds, because whatever I want to put on this shelf, I want it to pop against it. So anything concrete and gray, the greens look awesome. Like I said, I'm really loving the wicker to break it up, but just keep in mind, if you have like a solid black wall, you don't want tons of black decor because it's just gonna kind of blend into it. So this little nook that used to just be like a floating cabinet on a white wall, it did not stand out at all. It was just super boring. Is now beautiful. It makes a statement. I don't know, it just has such a wow factor, and for us it was like under $6 to make that possible. So once again, I'm going to reference it. You do not need a ton of money to make your home beautiful. You just have to get creative. We went from boring to beautiful for $6. When you have shelves like this, it takes a little bit of rearranging. I would put stuff on, take it off, and I'm trying to balance the sides. So if I have wicker on the left bottom, I'm trying to put wicker on the top right. Basically just making it all make sense and balancing, but also functioning, because in these wicker bins, it's like my little trash cans for all my dryer lint. So I wanted to keep those low as well. So basically, this is how it ended up, and I'm so happy with it. But I can't end this until I show you all the befores. So here is how it started out originally, and then once I took everything off and cleaned it, that was it plain. And then of course the final reveal is here. I love it. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. If you're new here, definitely click that red subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.